Now, guys, my fellow entities, please forgive me for not being on YouTube for roughly 2 months. Again, humble beginning, guys. But unfortunately, I had a lot of stuff to do regarding back to school stuff, face-to-face classes. You guys probably can't even hear the students in the background because again, I live behind a school. Face-to-face classes. This is unfortunate one of the downsides to it, but hopefully I'll be able to get this posted and edited up by at least the last day of September, so that at least when October comes I can post 2 videos, one for October respectively and the other one that should have been in August. And of course, because those things occurred, those stuff that held me back from like making these videos, I will have to like basically like think of something else to react to for what should have been August. But I want it to be a bit new. I don't want it to be like say 6 months old. So I don't know. I'll think of something, guys. But again, I don't want this channel to be just strictly red pill dating, relationship stuff, and or even just religious stuff, right? I also want it to be like basically anything out there, even economic stuff, factors, finance, all the nine, all of the 9 realms. If you guys watch Thor and those other movies, right? So yeah, I'm going to be reacting to a video today, which again gets right into the topic of evidence that the US is not a democracy. And it comes to us from a YouTuber, I should say, that has 8K subscribers, and I believe his name is pronounced Numuves. I'm not going to even try it because I know I butchered it already. But yeah, let's get into the video, right, guys? Time for us to learn and do our thing. Yeah. Let's do this.
For the last few years, I've had this sense that everything I learned as a kid about how America's government works is completely wrong. But I had no idea how bad things actually were until I saw this one graph. Researchers at Princeton University looked at more than 20 years worth of data to answer a pretty simple question. Does the government represent the people? Now, this is what they found. This axis here represents public support for any given idea. On the left, at 0%, are ideas that not a single American wants. On the right, at 100%, are ideas that everyone supports. This axis represents the likelihood of Congress passing a law that reflects any of these ideas, from a 0 to a 100% chance. On this graph, an ideal republic would look like this. If 50% of the public supports an idea, there's a 50% chance of it becoming law. If 80% of us support something, there's an 80% chance. You get the idea. Now, most Americans would probably agree that, with a few exceptions, we should be as close to this ideal as possible. Unfortunately, the way America actually works doesn't even come close. Take an idea that nobody supports, literally nobody, and it has about a 30% chance of becoming federal law. Now, take an incredible...
And guys, listen, I don't want to restart the video that often, right? Because again, by the time I finish talking, it's probably going to be like at least over 10 minutes long, right? And the video is like roughly 6 minutes long. But I just wanted to just kind of note something I've actually learned since I've started tertiary education. That you see that purple line that represents so-called reality. In the realm of economics and finance and maybe even accounting, I'm not sure, you would consider that line to be what is called perfectly elastic. And what that basically, it means a number of things depending on like, the type of course you're taking and what you we should study and all that. Maybe if you Google it out, you probably tell you something different though. But generally speaking, when we're talking about perfectly elastic, again, doesn't mean it means the same thing right here. But normally, once you have a horizontal line, like this one right here in front of us, it generally speaking speaks about the fact that like no matter what happens, like in this case, the likelihood of something happening will forever remain the same. So there can be 100 people supporting it, like what it says on the graph, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, but the likelihood of it will always remain the same. It's kind of like if you had like a supplier and it's like, listen, I don't care if there's COVID, Ebola, or if it's the end of the world. We're only supplying you guys with 100 supplies of soap or blue soap or I don't know, tin cans or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So if you think about like that, or like a supply and demand point of view, it's like whatever it's supposed to represent is going to basically remain the same no matter what. And there's also stuff about like perfectly inelasticity and so on. But again, this isn't like a economics course video or anything like that to study. So it's kind of like a fun fact if you really think about it. But yeah, if you don't know that, you could still look at it and say, listen, okay, so no matter what happens, the likelihood of this law being passed is like, whatever percentage, and it doesn't matter if even 90% of the country is going for it, it's still going to be that. But let's wait and see what this guy has to say about it.
Incredibly popular idea. The most popular idea this country has ever seen, and there's also about a 30% chance of it becoming law. This means that the number of American voters for or against any idea has no impact on the likelihood that Congress will make it law. Put another way, and I'm just going to quote the Princeton study directly here, the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. So if
Yes, see there again, guys, I've been telling you. Again, it's like the thing with perfectly elastic, or again, even with perfectly inelastic. Once the line is basically set to be a near, if not exact, straight, horizontal, vertical line, it's like, listen, no matter what happens, the supply or demand or the action or whatever it is that you guys need, a law or food or service to be produced, it ain't happening. It ain't increasing, and it also ain't decreasing. It's going to remain the same no matter what happens. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure this statistic may change decades to come, but I don't believe it will change that much. Like, for example, if he considers like the likelihood of a law being passed to be, let's say, 30%, then I mean, being realistic with all things, it may go to like 45, 40, may even go down to like 20 or something. I don't know, but being realistic with all things, it ain't gonna go to even probably past 50%. You get me? Like, they're not gonna give that much power to the average American citizen. I believe giving them enough power to vote for their president is probably just enough power. You get me? So yeah, just saying.
If you've ever felt like your opinion doesn't matter and that the government doesn't really care what you think, well, you're right. But there's a catch. This flat line only accounts for the bottom 90% of income earners in America. Economic elites, business interests, people who can afford lobbyists, they get their own line. Look at how much closer their line is to the ideal. When they want something, the government is much more likely to do it. And when they don't, they have the power to completely block it from happening, no matter how much the rest of the country supports it. They get what they want, and guess who ends up paying for it? We pay for it with the most expensive healthcare in the world. We pay for it with a tax code that's a complete mess. We pay for it with internet that's slower and more expensive, with wasteful spending, a floundering education system, a catastrophic drug war, and 1 in 5 American children born into poverty. Almost every major issue we face as a nation can be traced back to this graph. How does this happen? Well, just follow the money. Right now, it's perfectly legal to buy political influence in America. Here's how it works. Let's say a big bank wants a law that would force taxpayers to bail them out again if they repeat the exact same reckless behavior that crashed the global economy in 2008. Not exactly the most popular idea with the public, and Congress knows that. That should be the end of it. But that's where the money comes in. It's perfectly legal for our bank to hire a team of lobbyists whose entire job is to make sure that the government gives the bank what it wants. Then those lobbyists can track down members of Congress who regulate banks and help raise a ton of money for their re-election campaigns. It's perfectly legal for those lobbyists to offer those same politicians million-dollar jobs at their lobbying firm. Then, those lobbyists can literally write the language of this new bailout law themselves and hand it off to the politician they just buttered up with campaign money and lucrative job offers. And it's perfectly legal for those politicians to take the lobbyist-written language and sneak it through Congress at the last second. So now you've got a law that greatly benefits the banks, and the whole process can start over. This is how a bill becomes a law. A special interest hires some lobbyists, those lobbyists collect campaign contributions, offer jobs, and then write the laws that Congress then passes to help those same special interests. This happens every day on every single issue with politicians of both parties. In the last 5 years alone, the 200 most politically active companies in the United States spent $5.8 billion influencing your government. Those same companies got $4.4 trillion in taxpayer support. And that's trillion, with a T. And that's just the top 200 companies.
The top 200 companies. You know, the funniest thing about this from like an economical standpoint and even financial standpoint, there are stuff that I believe are called index funds, which are like stuff you can basically put your money into, and it will go to like the top 100 or so companies of like that particular nation or like country in regards to like which ones have actually done the best or are like considered the most powerful. You can go online and like Google it yourself, guys, but trust me, more than likely he's referring to at least, like, I guess you could say like within that 200 he's referring to 100 of those were probably there, like the top 100 companies in that index fund for the US at least. So like Jamaica, I believe, has like an index fund, Barbados, Trinidad, you know, Cuba, etc. I'm not saying everyone has to have one, I'm not saying like as an example. I've been told that the US as well as like the UK one are the two biggest ones, especially to get like long-term money from. So again, a quick little fact, probably took about 2 minutes for me to explain, right though, but I'm just saying, more than likely within those companies that they refer to that are in these index funds, especially for the US in this case, more than likely they were a part of it. Most, not all. You get what I'm saying? Like, for it to be the top 200, like, more than likely a good 90%, if not more, of them that are a part of that index fund that you invest your stocks into and diversify it in was a part of that. But again, that's my opinion. I haven't done any facts about it, but I'm just saying more than likely. Right? Alright.
Never mind every other special interest, every union, every trade association, and every billionaire. Every single one of them can use their money to buy political influence. You know, there's this idea out there that this only became a problem after the Supreme Court's Citizens United decision in 2010. But the data goes back almost 40 years, and the results are clear. Corruption is legal in America. And as long as it is, anyone who can spend money to buy political influence will. The solution here isn't rocket science. Make corruption illegal. We already know Congress won't do it. I mean, one look at this chart will tell you that. What we need is a plan that lets us go around Congress and do what the American people do best. Fix this mess ourselves. Well, good news. We have that plan and it's already working. Now that we've got the problem covered, let us show you how to be part of the solution.
Alright, so I'm just gonna end it right here, guys. Video is basically done, only a few seconds left. But I just want to kind of highlight a few things, or at least the most important thing. I do believe that it is kind of good to go around, like, I guess, the American Congress in this point of view. However, based on how the American people have acted in regards to like their day-to-day basis, I don't believe necessarily that most, if not all, American citizens should really have the power to do certain things, right? I always remember talking to like one of my associates at the university I'm currently attending, right? And I was like talking to him, I was like saying to myself, if everybody had equal voting power to make any law possible, just like how people in like Congress and all that stuff have, let's say even here in Jamaica, because of the fact that so many of our Jamaican citizens are illiterate, and even in America they're not illiterate though, however, I remember reading something about only roughly 30 to like 40 something percent of Americans actually have anything beyond the high school diploma, meaning whether it be from tertiary degrees like undergrads or so to even simple certifications, right? So if less than half of America has all those stuff, again, not every time your academics necessarily for like common sense and those things or street smarts, is that really necessarily a good thing to like say, hey, we're going to fix it ourselves? Like, more than likely something else can come up. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the devil you know is better than trying something else. So I do believe something needs to change, whether that be a total restructure of the American Congress in this point of view, or even just giving it to the people. is really up for debate, because an argument can be made that, hey, we need like a one leader type of situation where this person has like the best interest of heart for ourselves and the country and all this stuff, but he also needs to make the decisions that other people may dislike him for in the short term, so that in the long term we can all say, hey, you know, we all suffered a bit for a couple months or a couple weeks. We didn't like him, we called him names, or he or she or whatever, but in the long run, us, our kids and our grandkids, aunts, uncle, everybody, general public really didn't suffer as much as we thought. You get what I'm saying? Because I honestly do believe that, oh guys, I'm sorry, there was something outside. I do honestly believe that in some situations, in some countries, there needs to be kind of like a one leader type of thing. Again, not saying all or most or everything, but I have seen histories of some countries, like how they develop their languages, to how like certain things are the way they are in their current economies and etc. And I'm like, I don't think this country can necessarily like pull off the same thing like America did to have like a democracy and for it to work. You get what I'm saying? So for some countries, because of that, their cultures and their settings and the environment and so, they need something completely 180 from what America has. Not saying America needs that though, but again, just a thought. Anyway guys, so listen, I'm going to be trying to do more short videos like these, you know, videos that are like 10-15 minutes or less, like to react to. And that's really the way I want to go. Also, I have a few exceptions here and there, maybe that make up for like stuff with using long videos or so. Like with this, I won't really be doing that much in regards to that react to long videos. But again, just a reminder as well, guys, I also have only one more video with featuring some people, so I'm gonna try to get more people to be featured in, so they can like talk to and be like, hey, you know, what do you think about this or that, especially more females. But I probably will be trying to open up an Instagram page for this channel alone, so that more people can be invited through that, and I won't have to actually rely on people who I know or people of people that I know. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, asking like a friend of a friend of a friend to like come on to the platform and stuff, because, you know, even when I tell them that, listen, your face isn't even going to be on YouTube, I'm literally just using your voice. You can even use a fake name. I just want real stuff like your age, your gender, etc. But apparently even that is too much to ask these days. Apparently everybody's just like a introvert or whatever. But yeah guys, my fellow entities, thank you for watching this video. Again, like, subscribe, dislike, share the video, comment, do whatever you want, because you are free in this universe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year.